Luke gives up on finding his lightsaber after the Empire Strikes Back. Plus, we have Poe teaching Rey how to fly an X-Wing, all this week on Star Wars Weekly. Hello everybody, it's Starrapter here. Welcome back to the channel. It's another week, and that means another round of comics to talk about. The first one from Marvel is the flagship series of Star Wars. It's issue number 4, and this is part 4 of the Destiny Path, in which we have Leia, Lando, and Luke on Bespin. But in the last issue, we have Leia being frozen in carbonite as she's going to find out how to tinker with the carbonite freezing and try to free Han. And we have Luke trying to find his lightsaber, and we have Lando freeing Lobot and trying to liberate him from that facility. And at the end of this issue, we really get into that whole crux of the problem. Like, oh man, Leia is in serious trouble. Luke can't find his lightsaber. What's going to happen next? So we open up with this issue, and what Lando did to kind of compromise the Cloud City station to get the Imperials out of his home was he kind of messed with the systems to make the Tabana gas basically almost undesirable for the Empire, so hopefully it'll leave. So we open up with this beautiful shot. The artwork is fantastic of this green smog. And then we see that Lando is about to be overrun by stormtroopers. He's calling for help from Luke, who is in this gigantic junk pile room of nothing but metal parts where he thinks the lightsaber could have gone. And, well, he has to kind of give up his chance at finding his lightsaber any longer because he's got to help out Lando, and Leia's not responding because she's in carbonite. So this is where the cool thing of this issue really happens is Luke has another vision. He's been having visions all along. This vision really is a lot more clear of what he has to do. It has flashes into the future, flashes into the past, just really awesome artwork depicting everything going on through Luke's head as far as a lightsaber being a weapon of the Jedi. And he comes through away from this experience saying, I don't really need a lightsaber that much. And I have the Force. I am a Jedi. You know, my ally is the Force. And he also sees this mysterious character that he had seen in a previous vision, and she's on a different kind of planet. It's very alien-esque. It's different colors, like red, bright red mountains and stuff. I think it could be Pilio from Battlefront 2. We see Luke is there later on in his life after the events of Return of the Jedi. Just the landscape kind of looks like that. So anyway, by the end of this issue, we have Luke, we have Lando teaming up. Luke is really starting to harness his Force abilities. He's force pushing stormtroopers out of the windows. He's using the Force to basically disarm their weapons from them. So he's really kind of turned a new page after this vision. He wants to embrace the Force as a Jedi, use that as his defense. And he does use the Force to free all these people out of the carbonite, including Leia. And then they get their on this shuttle, and then they also have Luke getting his T-65 Red 5 X-Wing back, which was a really awesome moment, because that's another question that I think a lot of us has had since watching Empire Strikes Back, is how does he have Red 5 back in Return of the Jedi? I want to see the story about how he goes back to Bespin to get that thing, and here we have that story. And Luke decides he does not want to travel with the rebellion to the base. He wants to go out on his own and seek out what this mysterious character is. He thinks it could be some sort of Jedi. And it looks like it's a female character by the stance and about the stature of this certain character. So what kind of female Jedi or female Force adept do we know during this time? We really don't know. And that's what's exciting about these comics, is every week we're getting, or every month we're getting a tease as to what might happen next. I'm not quite sure if this is the end of the Destiny Path arc or if there's one more issue left. It feels like this is a good place to kind of build onto a new arc for the story, but it was a pretty awesome issue. I'm really liking how this story is going so far, going back and seeing Lobot. I mean, seeing Lobot getting severed from the central nav computer or whatever that thing was, and him actually walking around with Lando. I'll be honest, guys, I was not expecting to actually see Lando come away with this thing living, because we don't see him in Return of the Jedi, so there's still a chance he could go somewhere else at this point. But seeing him use the little mouse droids to attack the stormtroopers was like a great little touch, and just seeing Lando responding to all these citizens that were so grateful for his help, and him saying like, yeah, I'm there for you, even though he really only went back for Lobot, but he got his way. The Empire's going to pretty much have to leave because they can't harness the Tabana gas, so that leaves up for that last shot novel by Daniel Jose Older, where he does end up going back there in that novel and taking back Bespin. So what'd you guys think of Star Wars issue number 4? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. And finally for this week, we have Star Wars Adventures issue number 31. When I say finally, it's because I feel like we haven't gotten a Star Wars Adventures comic in a very long time, and that's just kind of what happens with the IDW comics, and don't really know why. But we have 2 stories as always. The first one is about Rey and about Poe Dameron training her how to fly, and this one's called Squad Goals. Very straightforward story. There is training going on between Rey and Poe, and it makes a lot of sense because we see in the Rise of Skywalker her piloting an X-Wing. So it's like, yeah, we could get by that simple explanation that we've seen in Before the Awakening book with the Millennium Falcon, like, oh, I got into a simulator and I was able to figure it out that way. So it's nice to actually see them bonding too, Poe and Rey, who have not really had a lot of experience movie time-wise to really bond together. But what was really cool about this whole thing going on with the training is they go to this one asteroid, and the mining guild's there. The mining guild from Star Wars Rebels. You see these Rhodians with their equipment destroying this this asteroid, but they also use these buzz droids that we've seen in Revenge of the Sith. So that was really neat, actually seeing how these things are repurposed as mining tools, but now they still go after ships, and that's what we've seen. A lot of stuff that really was kind of just like Revenge of the Sith. And so, you come away with the story. It's just a very fun story, not super deep as, most Star Wars adventure stories are what they simply are stated, adventure stories. So that leads me into my next review for the next part of this episode, or the next part of this issue, sorry. The Lost Stories Part 2. This one has Milo, and this also tied into the High Republic before we even knew about it. So he's on this planet, and it was the High Republic in its time was when it was really bustling. There was a lot of people around. It's a big library that, supplies information for everything throughout the galaxy, and it's been abandoned since, and there's these droids that are kind of patrolling the area and making sure that nobody wreaks havoc, and, well, they think of Emil as a target, and they're going after him, and that's basically the whole story, is him trying to get away along with his droid Crater and that other quacking monkey lizard that is one of the companions. And by the end of this issue, they get one of these memory spears, and then it turns out that there's this random character that shows up with lightning coming out of his fingers, like, hey, I want that too, you're gonna give it to me or you will die, that sort of thing, where this guy just comes out of nowhere. I'm not even sure about what species it is. We don't know anything about him. So yeah, that was that story, and we got one more issue of that coming out, and then that's going to end Star Wars Adventures line. We're going to restart with Star Wars Adventures issue number 1, but also next month we do have the Clone Wars Battle Tales, I think they're called, so that'll be coming out once a week, which will be a nice little cadence to have those Star Wars Clone Wars stories, going right into the Clone Wars animated series, which I have been enjoying and reviewing those on a weekly basis. So you guys can check those out. But one more thing that I do want to mention about is we also had the novelization of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. I have literally just finished reading the book before recording this video, so my review is not quite up as of making this video go live, but be prepared because later in the week it'll be up. But just real quick analysis of the book without going too deep into it, because I will be doing it in my review. Really enjoyed it. Ray Carson did a great job of just kind of summarizing a lot of things, but also adding a lot of depth and different character perspectives, of course, that we didn't really understand. I came away with reading this book and saying, oh, I really can understand why that character did that or what happened with this character. So yeah, right now I would definitely say I recommend picking up the Rise of Skywalker novelization. So what did you guys think of all of this week's releases? Let's talk about them in the comment section down below. If you guys are new to the channel, as I mentioned, I do lots of other things to do with Star Wars. I talk about the High Republic, I talk about the Clone Wars, I talk about just about everything Star Wars, and even sometimes play some Star Wars games live stream or otherwise. So if you like any of that content, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's the easiest way to support me right now, and it does really help out the channel. I do appreciate it. My name is Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.